Hi everybody, this is Eric Chevallet with Bearing Point and you're listening to 5 Minutes Ahead. So today I have the pleasure to have two guests with me, Laurie Bonin and Vienna Kim from Artpoint. And we're going to talk today about art and NFTs. But maybe before we do that, Laurie and Vienna, if you can introduce yourself.
Of course. Well, first, thank you for having us, Eric. We're very glad to talk about digital art on this podcast. And to introduce myself, I'm Laurie Bonin, and I'm one of the two co-founders of Artpoint.
And I'm Vienna, and I'm the artistic manager at Artpoint.
Okay, glad to have you today on the show. So maybe can you tell us Artpoint? What do you do exactly, and what is that NFT and art that you're talking about?
Of course. Well, as we're going to talk about digital art, obviously, just to give you a little bit of context, digital art was born in the early 50s at the same time as when the first computers were developed. And since then, artists have been using new technologies to reveal their creative potential and to understand how the transition from the industrial era to the digital era has disrupted our relationship with the world. And today, Artpoint's mission is to promote this new generation of artists that pushes the boundaries of creation and to connect people to the best digital artists worldwide. So to do so, we bring digital art into living spaces to elevate the public experience and enhance the value of spaces, thanks to an exceptional collection including thousands of works to be displayed directly on any screens. We also offer exclusive NFT collections to a dedicated community of patrons and collectors.
That's super interesting. So tell me, how do you basically select the artist, the art, and what is the way to broadcast or for people to basically display what they have when we talk about digital art?
Maybe I can go ahead and kind of explain how we work and reach out to artists, and Laurie, maybe you can explain how we display them. But essentially, what we want to do with our gallery here at Artpoint and within our catalogue of artworks is to really represent the diversity and the richness of digital art as a medium, involving many different kinds of techniques and styles. So everything from 3D to generative, photogrammetry, collage. We really want to represent all kinds of techniques that can exist in digital art, whilst also accounting for artists that come from different countries, backgrounds, ethnicities, sexualities, genders. So we really want to show the richness of what this digital art community looks like. So in terms of content, that's what we are really searching for, this diversity, but also a level of professionalism and a real artistic background behind what these artists are creating. So we really look for artists who are professional artists. They do this as their main career. And these are the kinds of artists that we really want to showcase and put in the spotlight in the public, in these public spaces.
And so how do we showcase their works? So today at Artpoint, we have gathered a catalog of more than 4,000 digital artworks to be displayed on any screen. So we really have the opportunity to transform any screen into an immersive digital art canvas. So our clients, basically hotels, corporate offices, or retail spaces, pay a monthly subscription to get access to personalized collections of digital artworks that we renew every month. So over months, you'll get to discover different techniques, different artists, and of course, different inspirations.
So basically, we are. If I'm trying to make a parallel between the physical art, It's not only about owning the art. It's as well about displaying and therefore leasing or renting some of the pictures for a while. Is it what you mean by that, Laurie?
Yeah, definitely. Because when we launched Artpoint back in 2019, NFTs were not that famous, and we definitely wanted to find a way to help digital artists live off their works. For them, it was very hard to sell their works to a dedicated community of collectors because there was no scarcity before NFTs. So we came up with this system to rent digital art to places that wanted to exhibit the works, not necessarily buy them, but just benefit from the experience, the magic that it can create, the emotion that it can bring for the public. So we first created the streaming solution for business and living spaces that you can access with a monthly subscription. So it's really a leasing. And then with the emergence of NFTs, we also wanted to bring our digital artist community to a new generation of collectors. And that's when we developed our NFT solution. So today we can help artists exhibit and sell their works, and they have the most value possible because they have royalties with every exhibition we do, and of course they have the money when they sell their work to collectors.
I see. So it's good you're bringing NFTs on the discussion, because last year or a couple of years ago we saw that it was a lot of a speculative market, and people were buying NFTs for whatever reason and for value that were pretty amazing at the time. What's the tendency today, and how do you see the NFT as a plus, I will say, for the artist in the digital art?
I think it's interesting because there really was, the bull market when everything was kind of crazy with NFTs in 2021 and beginning of 2022. It's subsided a lot now, and we've entered what, crypto and financial circles call the bear market. So there's a lot less activity and transactions happening right now. But what's so interesting is that I've spoken to some artists who were selling their works during the peak of the hype of NFTs a few years ago. And sometimes they almost actually regretted selling some of their works because everything was going so quickly that they couldn't really take a moment to reflect upon the work that they were producing and sharing with the world. So now that things are a bit more quiet, we're seeing some extremely well thought through and conceptually strong artworks emerge, where artists are using the blockchain and NFTs in innovative and novel ways. As an example, one of our artists, Sasha Styles, recently had a physical exhibition here in Paris of poetry that are both digital artworks and physical artworks. And so we're really seeing new exhibition models or ideas coming around. There is still the speculative aspect. There are still scams. I think that's kind of the nature of where we are in this technology right now. But we're seeing a much more harsh division between those who are purely speculating and the artists who are really doing something truly innovative and I think historical with the work that they're producing with NFTs right now.
And how do you distinguish that work? How do you curate basically what's the principle you apply when you look at an artist to avoid the scheme and to make sure that it has a real value from an artistic standpoint behind?
Yeah, that's a super good question, because I think a lot of people coming into NFTs for the first time maybe wouldn't know where to find these artists. I think, first of all, a lot of the artists that we work with already had a history as an artist. So they would have worked with galleries previously or would have exhibited at festivals or have done public digital art projects, for example. And a lot of these artists are also working in NFTs. So this is one way to kind of validate the authenticity of an artist. Other than that, I think, it's kind of also a network effect, which is kind of already existed in the traditional art world. But when you are in touch with an artist who is, is authentic and have a history of exhibiting and selling their work, they will connect you naturally to other artists and their collectors. And I think this community aspect is super important with Web3 and NFTs. So this kind of network effect is kind of hyper accelerated in NFTs, but it allows you to find so many incredible artists relatively quickly.
Okay. So we talked about the artist, and I think it's you, Laurie, who mentioned that earlier. You were saying that your one of your client base was basically hotels, retailers, etc. Can you tell us a little bit more about them? How do they come to the digital art world, and what is their motivation, I will say?
Well, that's a good question. I think the positive impact of art has been proven for a long time. So it definitely can create an emotion that will permeate people's mind, and that's why they're looking for. So if you think of corporate offices, for instance, they are looking for a new solution to enrich employee well-being, and they really want to enhance their employee brand, for instance. And after the COVID crisis, it was even more true. They were just looking for a new solution to enhance the value of corporate offices, because people were used to work from home. So they were like, when you come to the office, you will get an inspiration you can find home. So that's for corporate offices, and I guess hotels, retail spaces are also trying to differentiate in a competitive environment, and to surprise their audience, their client, from one visit to another. And with digital art, I think what is very new compared to traditional art, because bringing art into corporate offices or hotel is not new, but digital art is really a living art. So what is interesting for our client is that it will create something very immersive, interactive, and it can also create emotions on a very large audience. So young people, older people, people that have a long-term interest in art, and people that are quite new, because today everybody is moved by new technology and is just inspired by what the artist can bring to us, I guess.
Okay, yeah, as you explain, you don't have to go to a gallery anymore, because you can then have a view of the art wherever you go.
So yeah, our ambition is to democratize access to art, and for that we think that it's very powerful to bring it in places we frequent every day. And for instance, if you just think about corporate offices, it's often the space you are the most often. So for that we use the power of screens that are everywhere, and we definitely think that it's better on those screens to display artistic content rather than news or marketing and communication, for instance.
Yeah, I cannot agree more with that. So basically, if we want within the Bearing Point office to display art, what do I need? I need a screen, a display connecting on internet,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. We can display on any screen if it has a good renderings for the artworks, of course. And the screens need to be connected to the internet, so that we can change the exhibition every month, and so that every month employees here at Bearing Point will be able to discover new techniques. So for instance, we can display AI, and then maybe the month after we can have, I don't know, a curation on music, because we have the music festival this month, and the month after a collection on women. So it's very a way to present the diversity of digital art and technique, and also today, of course, to explain what NFTs are about, to I guess demystify blockchain technology as well.
Okay, but so I understand that there's basically two things into what you do. There's the identification and curation of the artist on one side, and there's on the technical side basically the platform that allows to broadcast or display to a screen wherever it is some of these arts. Is it correct?
Definitely. And we also have the technology to sell digital art as NFTs, because we have our own smart contract on Ethereum. And so far, we've organized 4 collections of NFTs. So we have all-in-one platform enabling artists to display and sell their work, collectors to find NFTs to collect, of course, and public spaces to display digital art and art that are available as NFTs as well.
Okay, so what does it mean exactly? Because you were talking about Ethereum, is it you who make the recommendation to the artist, or is it the artist that comes, he has already burned his NFT and mint his NFT and you retrieve it? How do you make the link between the blockchain and the technology you have and what the artist is doing?
Yeah, I can answer that. So we put the artworks on our platform that have not been minted before. As Laurie said, our tech team developed our own smart contract, so it's directly linked to our platform. So what we do is that we publish the artworks on our platform, artworks that will then go on to be exhibited in public spaces. And when a collector is interested in acquiring a piece, they can just go to artpoint.xyz, and then there's a very simple way to acquire the artwork, either through cryptocurrencies, which is the most common way of buying NFTs and digital art today. But we also have an option to pay in euros or dollars. And in this case, if someone is to buy with euros, for example, we will then go on to accompany this collector in creating their crypto wallet and then assisting them with the minting of the NFT. So the actual minting happens when the collector buys the NFT. So it's a very simple process, whether you're in NFTs already or not. The main thing for us is to really reduce these barriers so that anybody who is a lover of digital art can collect if they love the artwork.
Okay, very interesting. And we talked about the corporates and more, I would say, the leasing or renting of digital art. What about the collectors? What is the trend that you observe, and is it like digital on one side and physical on the other side, or is it blurry from a collector standpoint?
I mean, we're seeing a lot of different models that are very interesting right now. Some artists are being, like I said before, very innovative with the ways that they are thinking about NFTs and digital art. So sometimes some artists will have a physical artwork that is also accompanied by its digital counterpart. Other times, there are even more interesting mechanics involved. For example, an artist called Ripcash is creating a physical metallic print of his artwork, and you have to scratch away at the artwork. So, by some people's definitions, destroy the artwork in order to receive the digital version. So there's a lot of interesting mechanics and concepts surrounding the pairing of the physical and the digital. I think today, maybe this is a personal opinion, but from a lot of curatorial and collecting circles I've seen, we are more interested in seeing thoughtful combinations of physical and digital coming together in an artwork, rather than, for example, a painter who has no interest in digital art then taking a photo of their painting and turning it into an NFT when it has nothing to do with their initial practice. For us, the artists that we work with, digital is really the core of what they do. And if they pair it with something physical, it's usually in a conceptual way, or once again, to open up collectorship to people who are maybe not necessarily in NFTs today, but maybe their first NFT will come with a physical artwork. So again, we really care about things being done well and thought through intentionally, rather than just, doing NFTs for NFTs or physicals for physicals.
But that's an interesting illustration that you take, and I haven't realized that before. I went to one of your exhibition and I saw true digital art. Is that because a couple of years ago, when things were going skyrocketing in terms of pricing, it was basically real art that were turned into a digital picture, and the illustration that you're taking when you're you're taking a picture or reflect that. And what I saw was really like animated art. There were a lot more depth in terms of using the technology to make digital art. It was just not a static picture turned into a picture, basically a JPEG.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of to go back to us working with artists who really have new technologies at the core of what they do. I think one reason why you might have had that experience coming to our exhibition is because the artists that we work with really do come from a background in working with new technologies. And so when you work with artists of this caliber, you can almost feel the conceptual nature of what they're doing. They're approaching new technologies with intention. And whether you're familiar with digital art or not, you can really see that in an exhibition when it's just something that's been scanned or taken a photo of and turned into an NFT. It has so much less depth than when you're working with an artist who almost lives and breathes the technology that you work with. You know, that's something that art can communicate very strongly without words. So I think that might have been what you were feeling. At least, you know, that's how I feel when I work with these artists every day.
That's definitely what I felt. Yeah, absolutely. How the NFT and the digital art, how does it disrupt the basically the art world?
As we were mentioning in introduction, digital art was born in early 50s, and since then it has evolved with the new technologies, and digital art just evolves to the rhythm of its time and has always been a reflection of the aspirations of our time. So the crypto effervescence, of course, was a great source of inspirations for many artists who just translated the emergence of Web3 communities and everything in their creation. So to give you an example, we represent an artist that is named Be a Stereotype, and he has a network that is named DJ Headquarters, where he is really talking about this craze that was that we were observing in the beginning of NFTs. And I think new technologies are feeding into artistic creation, and emergence of Web3 will mark the history of art forever. From a creative point, we will just see this paradigm shift in history of art, I guess. And regarding what we do here at Artpoint, has it changed or not with NFTs? I guess that our mission is and will remain to support digital artists and to democratize access to art. That said, NFTs have definitely changed the way artists distribute their works and interact with their communities. So every intermediary today needs to rethink the way they can best support the artist, because their needs are evolving. For instance, more and more artists want to develop their own communities on social network. So I guess with our expertise for B2B venues, we have something to do very interesting for them, and we will continue, of course, to help artists get through the doors of living spaces to gain more and more visibility and earn more incomes thanks to royalties.
Okay, so thanks for that, Laurie. And you answered the question I had at the very beginning on my side is will it be digital art and NFT? Will that be persistent over time? And clearly your message is that yes, and the artists are embracing the capability of technologies to make it happen.
So yeah, we definitely think that NFT is an incredible technology for securing ownership of intangible assets and for digital art, of course. But we just have to keep in mind that digital art do not mean NFTs and vice versa. So digital art is a form of art that takes new technologies as a medium. NFTs is a technology that is securing transactions on digital artworks.
Yeah, and if I can add, I assume copyright as well.
I mean, for the copyright, I mean, most of the artists, they keep the intellectual property of their artworks. We see a lot of NFT projects give away copyright, but I would say in artist circles, most of them are holding onto their intellectual property, which again allows Artpoint to have its type of exhibition model where we can pay artists royalties for the exhibition of their work.
So what if I want to come and see an exhibition soon, what should I do and where should I go?
Well, I think we can speak about Metz. Vienna, do you want to introduce what we are doing for Constellation Festival?
Yes, absolutely. So there is a digital art festival that takes place for 8 weeks in the city of Metz here in France. It's quite well known as a digital art festival, interactive and light art festival as well. And we are curating and hosting an NFT sale within a chapel in the city of Metz, which has been reappropriated into an events and concert space. So a very beautiful architectural building from the 1600s, I believe. And in this space, we'll be hosting an exhibition on the theme of biomimicry. So that means technology that takes inspiration from nature under the more specific title of Roots equals Cables. So thinking about how cables and plugs and electricity and technology is almost mimicking how the roots of trees or how mushrooms and fungi and mycelium operate to connect to nature. So it's an incredibly interesting concept and theme, and this exhibition will be running for 8 weeks, as I said, starting from the 19th of July, going on going on to September. So everyone who is in the city or in France for the summer is obviously very welcome to come and see this exhibition and discover more about digital art, and also maybe pick up their first NFT, who knows?
Okay.
And for our network of professionals, do not hesitate to come see us at Viva Technologies. We'll have a booth and we'll present every day new artists, so do not hesitate to come and connect.
We will do that. We will be present at Vivatech, so I guess I'll see you too. So thank you very much, Laurie and Vienna.
Thank you.
And I hope you all enjoy that discussion around art and NFT, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.